good day to everybody. I am Nicholas Bornautis, President of Capital Link. Welcome to Capital Link's company presentation series. We have with us today Mr. Pankaj Khanna, the Chief Executive Officer of Heidmar Maritime Holdings. He will discuss Heidmar's current business profile, market dynamics, and corporate strategy. Now, let me make a brief note on the logistics of our presentation today. We will begin with a company presentation followed by a Q&A session. Please note that this discussion is strictly for informational and educational purposes and should not be relied upon as investment advice or an offer to buy or sell securities or advice of any kind. As an additional disclosure, Capital Link has the privilege to work with Heidmar on investor relations. Now, let us begin our discussion. I'd like to pass the floor to Mr. Pankaj Khanna, the Chief Executive Officer of Heidmar. Please go ahead, Pankaj.
Thanks, Nicholas. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar where we will try to, demystify what Heidmar does. There's been a lot of discussion of who we are and what we do. Heidmar basically is a services company. We have been established for almost 41 years now. We were incorporated back in 1984. The company has gone through various iterations. What we do today is we provide services. We also do project development, and we're basically a one-stop shop as far as maritime services are concerned. In terms of how we do it, we've been basically quite a nimble organization. We have always had the privilege of market information at our fingertips that allows us to move quickly to be able to see trends and market development and see opportunities. Over the last 40 years, we've built strong relationships and have a very wide network. The global reach of the company and the reach into the various customers has allowed us to basically develop the company. We have always tried to stay one step ahead of the game by having these relationships and also having market knowledge. And market knowledge and information has been critical in the development of the company. Of course, what we stand for and the most important thing is the fact that our customers and the ship owners that we work for rely on us. We have been a reliable partner to all of them through operational excellence and a customer focus. We have always been a customer-driven organization and stay in that mode. This is something that runs through our DNA. And then, of course, safety and the preservation of the environment are our top priorities in our day-to-day work that we do. In terms of where we go from now, we will discuss this in the coming slides. Next one, please. As I've already mentioned, we were incorporated back in 1984. I'm not going to go through the entire history. It is available on the timeline on our website. Over the last 5 years since I took over the company, we have transformed the company from what it was when I took over. We had a handful of ships. And today, of course, the company has changed. Not only that we have more vessels under our management, but also we have transformed the business from being a tanker pool operator to doing a lot more than that. And this is what we will discuss as we go forward. The most notable thing this year and through our development, of course, has been the listing of the company on NASDAQ. For a maritime services company to list in the US is not something which is easily achievable. It has taken quite a bit of work, and so I'm very happy to say we are listed on NASDAQ, and that has opened various avenues for us. Next slide, please. Nicholas already mentioned our global presence. I won't go through all the offices, but we have about 60 employees. We are a people company. We rely on our people to do what we do in terms of providing the services, creating the market knowledge, having the relationships with all our customers. So people are our main asset. And this is why, as Nicholas also mentioned, we are an asset-light company. Until the acquisition of this feeder vessel, we had no other assets, no capex, but basically only people. It's a highly experienced team. I myself have been in the maritime offshore industry for over 37 years now. And then you can see from my team as well, for example, Nikki Fotiu, the CFO, has been dealing with public companies since 2007. Andres Cornelides, for example, has over 20 years of experience in chartering, and he heads up chartering, and so on and so forth. So people are the most important asset of Heidmar. Next slide, please. So, deconstructing our services, we're basically able to offer a wide range of services in the maritime space. We focus on tankers, crude oil and product tankers, bulk carriers, and now more recently into the container market as well. We're able to assist our clients in acquiring assets, including advising them on financing the assets. We don't provide finance ourselves, but we do advise them. We introduce them to various parties who could provide the financing. We can do corporate management. So what that means is that we can assist on the corporate side in terms of legal, accounting, treasury, so on. We talk about that in more detail in the next slides. We do commercial management. So basically, we find the employment of the vessel depending on the owner's or investor's risk appetite. We can employ the vessel in the spot market, like an Uber taxi going from port A to port B, or we can put the ships on longer term time charters as well. And then, of course, we provide technical management. A ship is just a box with an engine. We need to have people on board to crew the ships, to move the vessel, to operate the vessel, and we need the systems to take care of the vessel, including the day-to-day running of the vessel, the navigation of the vessel, the loading, discharging of cargo of the vessel, and so on and so forth. So we have a technical management arm that provides these services. Next slide, please. In terms of ship acquisitions, it's not like going out and buying a car. It's not like going out and buying a Toyota Corolla. Ships are different. Even ships built at the same yard in the same year can be different. So in terms of acquiring vessels, it is a science, but also to a certain degree, it's an art. You have to understand the vessel. You have to have knowledge about the yard. You have to understand and have knowledge about how that particular vessel has traded, what is the history of the vessel, and so on and so forth. So because of our extensive network, history, relationship, and the knowledge that we have, we are able to actually look at every vessel, see how the vessel has traded, what is the vessel rated in our pooling system. So when we go to our client who says, I want to buy an Aframax, we don't just say, here are 3 Aframaxes in the market, tell us which one you want. We say, here are 3 Aframaxes in the market. We rate the vessel X, Y, Z based on how we have seen the vessel trade, and we recommend that you acquire vessel number 1. And so this assists the investor, whether it's a ship owner or a financial investor, in making more informed decisions. And then, of course, we help them through the due diligence of the asset, where we can inspect the asset physically. We do a tabletop exercise in terms of looking at the vessel as well. And then we assist in the negotiation of the asset, the contract finalization, and of course, eventually the closure or delivery of the asset. So it's a full service in terms of helping acquire an asset. Next slide, please. On the corporate management side, so if you are a financial investor and you want to acquire an asset in shipping, you need some form of management to help you basically set up the companies, comply with all the legal and regulatory setup, and open bank accounts, do the treasury management, and then eventually do the accounting. Heidmar offers all the services. So if a financial investor comes in, we can set up the company in the right jurisdiction, comply with the right regulations. We can set up bank accounts. We can do full KYC clearance for the customer, and then eventually we can do full treasury cash management, and then also do US GAAP PCOB accounting for the customer. So it's a full solution for them. So therefore, they don't require any management of their own. Next slide, please. In terms of sourcing employment, there are a couple of ways in terms of a vessel, of how a vessel can be traded. If you want to employ the vessel on the spot market, where, like I said earlier, trades like a Uber taxi going from port A to port B, the market is quite volatile. It can move exceptionally in a day. The movements are quite violent at times in terms of the degree of change. So some owners have a risk appetite where they would like to have spot market exposure. However, if you have just one vessel or two vessels in the spot market, because of the geographical spread of the market and the timing in the market, you can at times miss the entire move in the market on the upside. So pools offer you this ability to aggregate income along with other vessel owners of similar types of vessels. So let's say you have VLCCs. We used to operate a VLCC pool where you basically have the aggregation of various VLCCs into that pool of similar types. The vessels are rated, so you have an aggregation of income across the various geographies and the timing in the month. In addition, you have economies of scale. So we were buying insurance and fuel for those vessels. Of course, port costs. We negotiate the best port costs for those vessels going into various ports globally. And then the most important thing is cash flow. If you are a tanker, in an extreme case, you could go for 90 to 100 days without receiving any cash for the voyage that you are executing. Whereas if you are in a pool, you are receiving your earnings every 30 days because we have a working capital facility, and that allows us to pay out distributions to the owners based on the ratings of the vessel. So the pooling offers a lot of advantages to the owners. Owners typically like to get into pools when the markets are low because they are cash flow constrained. Getting cargoes is very difficult. Heidmar has 40 years of relationship, so we are able to utilize the vessels without much idle time. However, when the markets are high, freight rates are high, owners like to sell their vessels because asset values are high, and then also want to time charter out for a longer time their vessels so that they can capture those high freight rates for a longer period of time. So it's a typical that in very high markets, pools lose ships. In low markets, pools increase. So this is just something that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Next slide, please. These are the pools that we are operating. So we have the Sea Dragon pool, the Bluefin, which is the Suezmaxes, the Sea Lion, which is Aframax, stroke LR2, the Dorado pool, which is the MRs. Next slide, please. So the other way that some owners come to us and say that, listen, we don't want to work ships in the pools where we do not have any day-to-day say in the running of the pools. We want a short-term solution, and we want a solution whereby we have say in how the vessels are run. So this is when we offer them commercial management. So commercial management offers the same more or less facilities as pool management, except that there is no aggregation of income with other vessels. There's no cash flow. There's no working capital facility for commercial management, but you have say in how the vessels are fixed. So you could come to me and say, hey, I want to give you my vessel on commercial management. So when the vessel comes open, I come to you with the various cargoes that I have seen in the market. I say, we have these 5 cargoes. We think this is the right cargo to fix. And then the owner has the possibility to say that, yes, I want to fix that, or no, I don't want to fix that. So this gives them flexibility. Also, if the owner is looking for a shorter period of spot employment before the time charter market opens up, that also gives them that ability to have us manage their vessels and then put the vessel on time charter. So it's basically offers more flexibility. Next slide, please. Technical management, as I described a bit earlier, so this is a more detailed slide in terms of what all we do. The regulatory framework out there for operating vessels is quite tough. The barriers to entry are quite high. So people come to us for technical management. We provide qualified crews. This is the most important thing. People run ships. Ships don't run by themselves. And then, of course, we provide the management systems to run the vessels. So the crews have to be given structure, what is called an SMS, a ship management system, which then qualifies the vessel along with the people to get the ISM certificates. And then we offer full service, not only the day-to-day running of the vessel, we obviously do the budgeting and cost control, spares, inventory management, performance optimization and monitoring. So fuel consumption is a key issue. We are all concerned about decarbonization. So We make sure that the vessels take the right routes, the engines are working at the right levels so that we consume as little fuel as possible. And then, of course, also innovation to improve the fuel consumption of the vessel. And then eventually vessels have to go to dry docks to do their 5-yearly maintenance. So we assist with the dry dockings as well. And of course, if a owner is ordering new vessels at a shipyard, we can offer them the full service from assisting with the specification of the vessel all the way to building the vessel. So we offer new building supervision services as well. Next slide, please. Time charter book and syndication, because we sit in the market, we come across a lot of information. We have a lot of information of where the market is at and where the market is going. Obviously, we don't have a crystal glass to tell us exactly where the market is going, but we have a good idea of where the market is going. So sometimes we come across opportunities where owners are looking for medium to long-term time charters to put their ships out for some period of time. And so we are able to take those vessels in. So we service the owner in terms of providing that long charter to them, since probably their financing or bank wants it. At the same time, we can take advantage of the market movements. And so we can take the ship and fix it out either in the spot market, where we like the spot exposure, or we can fix it out on time charter and make a arbitrage across there. Sometimes we also do what we call syndication. So we can take the vessel entirely on our balance sheet. So we have 100% interest in the vessel. Or at times, some owners come to us or investors and say, look, we are interested in taking exposure to the Aframax market or to the Suezmax market. And if you're going to take a time charter, we would like to participate with you. So in that case, we can sell exposure into that vessel of 20%, 30%, 50%. In the extreme case, we have even done 100% syndication of vessels across to investors as well. But most of the times we keep some interest in the vessel because we obviously have liked the risk, and that's why we took the vessel. So we have skin in the game along with the owner. Now, this can prove to be a very profitable strategy, as we have proven back in 2023, 2022, 23. And we still have one vessel right now, which we have had for 3 years, which has been a very profitable investment. But obviously, we are taking market risk there where it can work on both sides. We can make money as we did in 2023, or we can lose money as we did back in 2021. So it's a market risk that we take with regards to the time charter book. So next slide, please. So this is what I would say is the new thing. In the last year or so, we have been looking at what we call project development, because we sit on so much information on tankers, bulkers, and now increasingly we're building up our knowledge base on container market. We are able to execute projects. What are projects? Basically, where we assist investors in acquiring assets, assets in these three sectors that I mentioned earlier. We know investors who want to get into the sector. We have the knowledge and the ability to execute the transactions, and we put that together. So, for example, for a financial investor, we can help them identify what is the right sector to get into based on our market research. We can present them a board paper or a credit paper saying, here is what the fundamentals of the sector look like. If they decide to go ahead, we can help them acquire an asset. So we can identify what is the right asset. We can do the full diligence, inspection, etc. on the asset, help them negotiate the asset, so help them acquire the asset. We can do the full corporate setup, commercial management of the vessel, and the technical management of the vessel. So for a financial investor, other than taking a decision, they don't really need any management to make that acquisition. Now, for a strategic investor, i.e. a ship owner who's already in the business, if you're a dry cargo owner, it is not easy tomorrow to go out and buy a tanker and start operating that tanker. There's all this KYC, the knowledge. What I described earlier, it's not like buying a Toyota Corolla. Every ship is different, and you need to know the history of the vessel. You need to know how to trade the vessel. You need to be KYC cleared by all the oil companies. So we can help a dry cargo ship owner who's made money buy a tanker. We can help an owner in the tanker sector who owns an MR product tanker, but wants to now buy a crude tanker, an Aframax or a Suezmax, and we can assist there. So effectively, this is the project development. Where we are maybe slightly different over here as well is that we are also able to put skin in the game. So instead of just saying, here we will do advisory work and we'll show you or help you invest in the asset, we're also able to take an equity sliver of 10-20% to have skin in the game along with the investor. So this effectively is what project development is. We're using our position in the market and the services capabilities that we have to assist financial investors or strategic investors invest in tankers, bulkers, or containers. And this is what we did with the container vessel. Next slide, please. So this is the feeder container investment. We announced this recently. We looked at the sector. The fleet is old. Average age is about 15 years. The order book, which is the new ships that have been ordered that will come out over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, is only 4% of the existing fleet. So the fleet is old and the order book is very, very small. I mean, comparably, if you look at medium-sized container vessels or larger vessels, the order books are either high teens or even more than 20% in some cases. And then the small ships, so feeder containers are generally considered between 1,000 to 3,000 TEUs, TEUs being 20-foot equivalents. So these small ships are exempt in the US from the excess port fees that have been put on by the US administration on Chinese built, operated, or owned tonnage. So this is an advantage for the large liner companies in terms of being able to still bring in Chinese-built large ships to nearby US countries and then use the feeder vessels to come into the US. And then in terms of the charters, so you can basically charter out a feeder vessel for 2 to 3 years at relatively healthy rates. And so we recently acquired an asset which is built in 2008. It's built in Germany. And so it's a 17-year-old ship, but it's a long life asset. It can last till between 25 to 30 years, but I mean, it can go up to 30 years easily. But on average, they trade between 25 to 30 years. So it's a long life asset, has attractive investment fundamentals, strong cash on cash return. So it's an investment that we found to be quite attractive. This is why we entered the feeder vessel sector. In terms of the demand fundamentals as well, two main things to think about on feeders is that as Africa and Latin America are growing, they require smaller vessels to move cargoes up and down north-south trades. Additionally, with the application of tariffs on China, the manufacturing base in Asia has shifted out of one single source, which was China, to all the nearby countries. So Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, India are now also important areas. So all the big ships, the 20,000 TEU ships, the 17,000 TEU ships, cannot go to each one of these ports and pick up cargo. And so you need smaller vessels to feed into the hubs so that the bigger ships can then be filled and do the longer trades. So again, demand for feeder vessels is quite strong. So those were the fundamentals that attracted us to this sector. Next slide, please. Not much to say here, but the fact that we've been around for 40 years means that we have very strong relationships across the sectors with our customers, with the ship owners and so on. Long-rooted relationships. People that we have known for 20 years in some cases even longer. The company's relationship, but also the people's relationships that have been around for quite some time. So this is what has created Heidmar and has built Heidmar and fuels Heidmar, is the relationships that we have across the industry. Next slide, please. On the IT side as well, I think it's important to say that we sit on almost 7 terabytes of data from over the years of trading. And about 20 years ago, Heidmar internally developed an ERP system that is a system that from the time a cargo or a ship appears all the way to invoicing for that cargo and any claims for a cargo is all done on this one system called eFleet Watch. It is also our portal to our partners. So if a ship owner comes in with Heidmar in one of our services, we are able to show them their results, their reports all on the portal. So we're not sending out emails. This has been done for many years by Heidmar, so it's not something which is new. But what is important is that all the operating that we do is done on this system. So we do not have Excel sheets, etc. And we have been doing this for many, many years. This is not a new development for us. What is new now is that we are using AI to harden the system so that we eliminate some of the manual entry, duplication of effort, and a lot of the human intervention which is required these days. So with AI, we'll be able to make our operations even more efficient than they are right now, and also bring down some of our costs. So this is something that the company has been doing for a long time. It's not something which is new for us. It's been part and parcel of what we do for almost 20 years now. With that, I will end this presentation and then we'll take some questions.
Pankaj, thank you very much. This has been a very thorough presentation, compact, with lots of details.